4 Democrats and 1 Republican are running for 2 seats on the Story County Board of Supervisors. The candidates answered 7 questions the Tribune will publish weekly leading up to the primary election on June 8th. Question 6 is, what changes, if any, would you make to the county's budget process?
To be honest with you, I'm not that knowledgeable on it. There you go again. You have to take your word in business and listen to the people that you hire, and hopefully hire good people. I've talked to people in all the departments. I've talked to each one of the department heads briefly, and only just a couple places have they had anything that seems like it's broken and it needs to be fixed, but most people run pretty true. I guess what I'd like to hear more of is everybody wants more money, but tell me what you're going to spend it on. What specific thing, and nobody's really doing that yet.
There's not much of a process, and I think that's a real problem. It's kind of like, oh, let's all sit around and talk about what you would like to do. I'm like, no, what you really need to say is, this is how much money we have. This is how much money we can give you. How are you going, you give everybody a target. You say, how are you gonna make your budget? These are the resources. And then, if there's absolutely things that have to be, I'm not talking about fixed costs, like everyone has to buy fuel, like we have to heat our buildings, things like that. The cost of gravel keeps going up, and the cost of hauling it is also expensive, things like that. But you have to be really upfront, and I think we should start sooner.
We can't continue to spend more than we're bringing in. But after the budget that's approved in March of next year, we've got to go to work then on future budgets. And I really believe we need to go to, at least at first, a zero-based system where every single program, every single item that we spend is justified from zero up rather than justified from, right now it's justified the perspective of, here's what we spent last year, here's what we think we need to spend this year, okay, let's talk about that. And that's what we're going to have to do with this first budget of the new board. But after that, I think it's completely appropriate to just take everything back to zero and say, okay, let's build it from there and let's justify what's there. Then in future years, then you can start talking about doing some performance-based things. But I think if we don't strip it all the way back down and build from zero, we're never going to get where we need to go.
We need to redo our budget entirely because we have what's called an incremental budgeting process. It's essentially how much money did you get last year? Well, we'll give you a little bit more. And I think what we need to do is move away from that, move towards a professional budgeting system, which is performance-based budgeting or management by objectives. There's a number of professional type of budgeting operations we can use. But the key thing is to means test and look at all of our programs we have in Story County and determine what we're spending on it and what kind of outcomes we're getting. And most of these professional budget processes, they tie the money to some kind of outcome so that we make sure that we're providing services to citizens that they need, but we're doing it in a cost-effective manner. That's a big change that we need to make. And I think we also need to really hold the line on property taxes.
If there's changes need to be made, I guess that everybody needs to be able to sit down and look at this as the leaders in the county and say, is there a better way we can do this, or are there changes that we can make that would make the budget process more efficient? If those changes are there and then the changes need to be made, then I'm more than willing to listen to those changes. And if they can be implemented, then I think that the county board of supervisors and the department heads need to move forward as a whole and as a unit and implement those changes in the budget process.